Remember that one, sir? 2004 BBC radio? I jumped over a Mayan pyramid, Quackalutzawattletech. Anybody back there from, like Maya, well, I'm not super great with geometry. I jumped over the Great Wall of China. How many people have heard of the Great Wall of China, please, by show of hands? How many people have heard of the Great Wall of China by show of hands? 3 of the 25 people who have heard of the Great Wall of China. Man, keep the jokes real simple, man. You know what I mean? I'm gonna have to keep it real simple. I jumped over the Great Wall of China on a motorcycle, longwise. Nailed it. Landed that one as I have landed them all. I've never not landed. I've never landed on my wheels. On that last one, I hurt myself. I broke my tibula, my fibula, my scrapula, my falapula, my carapula. I fractured my liver in Southeast St. Patty's Day. I'm looking for someone to jump in who's going to sponsor me. Boston Duck Tours. Let's hear for Boston Duck Tours cross promotional. All I have to do is 62 tours and it's changed. So 61 after you guys. This is my first one. So I'm excited. It's a themed tour. They gave me a theme to help me stay focused, and in a cross-promotional effort, I said, I will accept your theme of freedom, firsts, and physics, the 3 Fs, but I want my own driver. I want my own engineer. And so they acquiesced to the idea. I said, I'm not doing anything without Lynn. This is Lynn. Everybody say, hey, Lynn.
Hey, Lynn.
Don't talk to the driver. It's right there. Lynn and I go way back. Lynn has been the engineer for a long time. If you follow my career, she's always there in the periphery, in the penumbra, adjusting the angle of the ram, fixing the thing in the side of the bike that goes to punch it over with the chrome thing that rattles. Anything engineering, left brain, problem solving, analytical, this is her purview. I'm the right brain part of the team. I'm more like emotional, intuitive communicator, you know what I mean? So together, Lynn and I make mostly left brain. She's going to help me stay focused. That's not easy for me because the 80s were pretty rough on me, but she's going to help me stay focused to the 3 Fs, freedoms, firsts, and flatulence or something. I can't remember the third one. Freedom is like revolutionary history. Do you guys like American revolutionary history? Yeah. Okay, good, me neither, so we're going to skip that. And then we're going to talk about firsts, because this is a city of firsts. For example, how many people like chocolate? First chocolate company in the United States was where? You're good at this game, Boston Baker's Chocolate. Predated Hershey's by, I'm not sure time is a construct. Here's one. How many people like or liked school? School. Okay, all right. Explains the Great Wall of China thing pretty well. The first public school in the United States was where? Yes, Boston Latin. Sit biscum biscum. May the force be with you. What about a nice library? How many people like a nice library? First public library in the United States was where?
Boston.
I can't hear you.
Boston.
Philadelphia. Actually, it was Franklin, Massachusetts, to be honest with you. And the first one in the city was Philadelphia. But the first one let you take home a book. That was the Boston Public Library. The third F. It's in the book. Did you get a little book? Oh yeah, it's in there. Thank you. Fun. The third F is fun. I'm not super jocular in nature, so I mean, I guess we can try, but it's not my first instinct. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm going to be fairly serious minded. You know what I'm saying? Sure. Sometimes people quack at us. That's fun. When people quack at us, how will we respond? Mostly we'll ignore them now. The way that you guys have been ignoring me for the most part. Here's the way it'll work. I throw the horns, I say my name, airtime, you quack twice. Let's practice. Airtime! You quack twice.
Quack, quack.
Quack, quack.
Let me ask you a question. Is this an English speaking tour?
Yes.
Is everybody savvy to the words that are coming out of my mouth right now? I feel like I'm working way harder than I need to. I'll give you guys a nod of redemption. Okay, I'll make it. I say airtime, I throw the horns, your lines are going to be quack, quack. Okay, it's 2 lines. Quack, not a lot of improv, please. I don't want to hear meow, meow, I don't want nothing weird. Just cluck, cluck, nothing, just quack, quack, okay? I'll give you an example, in case you're embarrassed. I don't know why you would be. Here we go. Hear that? Do you hear that? Down to the diaphragm? That's how it should sound. Okay, now granted mine is pretty good because I studied Meisner technique in Stanislavski and I have a degree in acting. You ever wonder what you do with a degree in acting from NYU? This is it right here. You ride backwards in a bus as a middle-aged man and you quack at people. So, here's the way it works. I throw the horns, I say airtime, you quack twice. Practice it. Airtime!
Quack, quack!
Okay, this is called Bullfinch Triangle. Let's ignore the fact that it's shaped like a rhombus. Bullfinch Triangle is in fact at one time, in the old days, a little pond, which was called Mill Pond. And Ben Franklin, yeah, that Ben Franklin with the little business in the front, party in the back, haircut shaped like a pear. Ben Franklin's from here. He's not from Philadelphia. He's here. He's born on Milk Street. He used to swim here. Ben Franklin writes in his autobiography about swimming around in Mill Pond. Yeah, it's a true story. Ben Franklin invented something like 100 items that are used contemporaneously as we speak, including the things that he used to use here, the flipper and the hand paddle. Benjamin Franklin is in the Swimmers Hall of Fame for having invented the flipper and the hand paddle. Isn't that cool? There are two acoustically perfect places in the world. One is the Vienna Opera House. The other one is underneath this parking garage. If we quack under this parking garage, it should echo. Would you like to try that? Would you like to take part in this little experiment?
Yes.
Where are you two from? Right up front here. Where are you two from?
I'm from Boston here.
You're local?
Yes.
Oh, that's very limiting for me. That limits me to the truth. It's my first choice, to be honest with you.
I'm from Seattle.
You're from Seattle? Okay, that's a little more free. I'm from Los Angeles. I'm from the West also. Yeah, I'm from LA. I moved out here for the weather. What about you two? Where are you from? Florida. Oh, wonderful. Lynn, put on the turn signal. We have two people from Florida on. Just leave it on the whole time. Okay, this will make you guys feel more comfortable. You know what I mean? It's an easier transition. So. Okay, underneath this parking garage, we'll quack and listen for the echo. Okay, make it down to the diaphragm. This is fantastic. I think this is a nice way to start the tour officially. Here we go. Are you ready? And air good.
Quack, quack.
Now listen. You hear that? These are government buildings on our right-hand side. Government Plaza, City Hall Plaza, city, state, federal, county governments all represented here. The Federation, the Klingon Empire, the Borg, the Romulans, Vulcan, and Master Sarek. This is called the Boston Public Market over here. This is a wonderful public market. A lot of things that are locally sourced, a lot of good vegan stuff, and a lot of good vegetarian stuff and organic foods. And then this is Haymarket, which is the oldest open-air market in the U.S. That market goes way, way, way back there. That's a wonderful place to watch people argue over the price of the zucchini. This is called the Blackston Block. And Blackston Block is a very old and nearly original part of Boston there. This area that you're seeing across the way, that's one of the last unchanged areas of Boston. That's called the North End. We have to ignore the fact that it's all the way to the east, but the North End is pretty cool. Paul Revere grew up there. You can actually walk around his house and think about what tiny little feet he had. This is called the New England Holocaust Memorial by the Shoah Foundation. And beyond it is Union Oyster House, which is the oldest continuously run restaurant in the United States. The place on the left-hand side is the place that James Otis called the birthplace of the American Revolution. That's Sephora right there. No, I'm just joking. Not the Sephora. I'm talking about Faneuil Hall is the place that James Otis called the birthplace of the American Revolution. Quincy Market is on the other side of it there, and there's Sam Adams in front here. Now, not this guy in the members-only jacket, but the statue guy. Do you know why Sam Adams would be in front? Because he would have been here around this era of the revolution in front of this building, much like he is now, although probably he would be mobile, you know. This is the type of thing that he would do here. He laid the bodies of the 5 that were killed in the Boston Massacre. How many people have heard of the Boston Massacre by show of hands? Okay, that's the same 3 people. How many people know that we had a revolution in this country? Because I might have to start with like the primordial ooze and work my way forward. I don't know where you are in the book. I'll skip ahead. We had a revolution. Spoiler alert, we won. I don't know where you are in the book. Several things that up here. One of them was called the Boston Massacre. The Boston Massacre, the death of 5. That is, historically speaking, the least massacre massacre of all time. So Sam Adams does several things. One, he and his companions work out the name Boston Massacre rather than Boston Street Fight, Boston Tragedy, Boston Riots. But they called it in the English press at the time the Boston Incident on Court Street. And he has their bodies laid out here. It happened in front of this building to the right-hand side where there's a lion and the unicorn on top. This place with the lion and the unicorn on top is the site of the Boston Massacre. The little circle on the sidewalk over there says that's the site of the Boston Massacre. Truth be told, it is not the site of the Boston Massacre. It is the site of them trying to get you out of the middle of the street, which is the actual site of the Boston Massacre. Because unlike the illustration that Sam Adams had done by Paul Revere, the same Paul Revere who never said the British are coming, the British are coming, there was no snowball fight. There were 350 people at this intersection surrounding 9 redcoats with their back to that building before they opened fire into the crowd. It goes to trial, and the defense attorney for the redcoats argues in favor of them stopping the advance of the crowd, and he argued successfully. Do you know who the defense attorney for the redcoats was? It was John Adams, who goes on later to become the 2nd president of the United States, who was the 1st vice president of Washington, and yet he defended the redcoats in trial. American history is very confusing. That's why I don't care for it. I don't like to be confused. This is the old State House, 1713, second and third floor there. There's a wonderful museum about American Revolutionary history. They're getting ready to have a climate awareness march, which is going to be hopefully taking over the whole city. There's going to be thousands of people out there, kids out there marching, and I think they're going to start here and go all the way to Beacon Hill. So I think that's a pretty good thing if you're asking me, but you're not, so I told you anyway because I got a mic. Where are you two from? Right here. Oh, you're rolling with this kid? Yeah. Same group from Seattle? Yeah. Motorcycle gang or something? You guys strike me as perhaps gang affiliated.
Something like that.
Okay, that's fine. I don't want any trouble, man. On the right-hand side, you will see a tea kettle with a little steam coming out of it. That used to hang above a tea shop. Back in the old days, it was a throwback to East India Tea Company. How many people have heard of the East India Tea Company? How many people have heard of the Boston Tea Party? That's the most commonly known as the Boston Tea Party, where they put the tea into the water. But here's a fun fact for you, if you like American Revolutionary history. If you were to take all the taxes that they paid at the time, right prior to the American Revolution, and make them one big Ross Perot-style flat tax, the Townshend Act, the Stamp Act, all the various intolerable acts, and you were to make them, one big flat tax, then you made them have a flat tax over there in England in the pre-revolutionary era. Do you know what our taxes were in contrast to the average English citizen? Do you know how much we paid in terms of a percentage? 6%. We had a 94% tax discount. We did not have high taxes. James Otis never said, taxes are too high, we must have a revolution. He specifically avoided talking about the price of taxes. He said taxation without representation is tyranny. And what he was talking about was not having representatives in the parliamentary system. And the King George having gone broke after the 7 Years' War, probably because it took 9 years. The easiest way to go broke after the 7 Years' War is to have to take 9 years. And so they were levying taxes on the colonies, so there was no end to it. And the more he resisted, the more the taxes would have been levied. So ultimately, we probably would have had much higher taxes than they would have had in England. So we were stemming the tide of this by having a revolution, which we won. And now we all speak, no, I guess English. So look at the left-hand side. This is the King's Chapel Burial Ground. Do you see it? Let's quack for the child over there. Look, expectantly, he's waving. Let's quack for him. Airtime. Oh, you've traumatized him. Look at the, yes! Okay. Look at this. Look at the different types of headstones there. Do you see any angels with wings, with their little cherubic visages flying toward the heaven? Typically not. Typically you see skulls and crossbones, winged skulls, a hooded figure with a scythe in his hand, hourglasses with the sand on the bottom. This is a Puritan burial ground, and the Puritans had an aesthetic like Uriah Heep in 1779. That's the King's Chapel itself on the left-hand side. This is the Omni Parker House Hotel on the left-hand side, home of the Parker House Roll, home of the Boston Cream Pie, home of a fun fact which you will not believe, but I promise you it's true. I'm a Virgo. 1911 to 1913, the pastry chef in this hotel who trained under Escoffier, who we call the father of French cuisine. Anybody know who it was? This guy used to audit classes about American Revolutionary history for free at Harvard. Spoke several languages. Ho Chi Minh, who goes on to lead the North Vietnamese army, used to make little raspberry torts in the Omni Parker House Hotel. Lived in the United States for at least 2 years here in Boston, they suspect too, as well as a baker in the Ritz in New York. Although there's no proof of that, there's lots of proof of him being in the Omni Parker House Hotel. On the right-hand side is the Granary Burial Ground. This is the burial place of John Hancock, Sam Adams, Robert Treat Paine, James Otis, Paul Revere, Ben Franklin's parents, Elizabeth Vergus, Crispus Attucks. They're all buried in this one burial. There's Sam Adams buried next to the guys killed in the Boston Massacre. His request, when I die, please bury me next to the killed. So, the distance over there, that's John Hancock. John Hancock says, when I die, please bury me as far as you could possibly from Sam Adams. Our founding fathers are real people. They have real relationships. They have real falling outs. They're not just a bunch of cute little short men in wigs and pumps signing documents. They're real guys, and they have real conflict, The saddest part of the whole thing is there's a bunch of people gathered around Ben Franklin's grave, and a bunch of people gathered around Sam Adams. There's a bunch of people gathered around John Hancock. There's lots of people gathered around Paul Revere, who was a very interesting. But there's a poem written about it called The Midnight Ride of Paul Revere by a guy called Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. In that poem, he gets two things right. There was a guy called Paul Revere, and there was a horse. That is the full extent of the historical accuracy. And so everybody goes to Paul Revere thinking that he was one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence, or he did something there. He did lots of ancillary things to the American Revolution, but there were lots of versions of people like Paul Revere. So he was important, but no more important than, say, James Otis, who people love. Look, one person standing mournfully looking at James Otis. Hi, guys, hi! James Otis was the mastermind of the American Revolution, the architect of the American Revolution. Yeah, and nobody ever talks about that guy. Look at the right-hand side. There's our State House, our center of government. Stop looking at. Look at the left-hand side. There's the Winter Street down there. That's called Downtown Crossing. I like to class it up a little bit by calling it Downtown Crossing. Now, on the right-hand side, you'll see lots of beautiful park there, 40 acres more or less. Please ignore the signs that say it's America's first public park, because it is not America's first public park. In other words, that's Elm Park outside of Worcester. This is not a park initially as it was for the Puritans. The Puritans weren't playing Frisbee here. The Puritans were playing a game called Try and Not Die from Consumption. It was a common use land, which is essentially like a commune. Think of the Puritans as sort of angry, intolerant hippies against fun, living together, sharing their resources so they could survive. Let's see, over here, where are you two from right there? Texas? Are you having a nice time in Boston? Do you think the people are nice? Good for you. Thank you for your honesty. That was the most Texan answer you could possibly give, to be honest with you. Welcome, my friend. Very good and also very accurate. Also, behind Texas, also Texas. Welcome, my friends from Texas. Do you know them? They're from Texas. No. We have a great theater district. Sometimes Broadway plays open here before they open up Broadway, so that's pretty cool. I would say it's more akin to the Chicago theater scene than that would be Broadway or something. Chicago, San Francisco, but it's a very, very good theater scene here. And look, Emerson is on the left. They're a wonderful school, one of 50 institutions of higher learning in the 90-mile area. Emerson's one of my favorites. Henry Winkler went to Emerson. The Fonz, Dennis Leary went to Emerson. Jay Leno went to Emerson. Oh, Carol Burnett went to Emerson. Carol Burnett is on tour, by the way. I think she's in Providence next week. Carol Burnett is like Methuselah. She's 197 years old. She's still touring. I love Carol Burnett. And so Stifler's mom went to Emerson. So very, very good school. And Emerson's been buying a lot of these old theaters up and throwing that good college money in storage and something. When we come around the corner here, you're going to see the Emerson Colonial Theater, which is the oldest theater in Boston. It's been beautifully restored now. Thanks to Emerson now. So I would urge you to go and visit. We have very important work like Baby Shark Live is playing there, which I believe is Harold Pinter. On the right-hand side, this is the central burial ground. This is the third burial ground on the tour. And you'll see fewer headstones, but this doesn't mean fewer people. This means fewer rich people. It's not uncommon at all to be buried in unmarked grave. In fact, about 90% of the populace was anyhow. But here it's even would be even less common to have a burial ground, because this was poor people, This is Carver Street. If you look at the left, you'll see Edgar Allan Poe in statue form, America's first Stephen King, walking away from Boston with a raven flying beside him. He's from here, He's not from Baltimore. He's from here. He was born on Carver Street, right behind that Boloco Burrito, although at that time it was probably a Chipotle. And he lived in Philly, and he lived in West 84th in New York, and he lived in Queens, but he's from here originally, and he had kind of a love-hate relationship with Boston. Well, really, they had a love-hate relationship with him. Well, really, they just hated him. And he kind of loved Boston because his family was here, but they didn't take him seriously. They didn't think he was literary because he couldn't write in the long form. Turns out, he got the last laugh. Let's see. Right here, you two friends, where are you from? Across from Texas.
From Lima, Peru.
From where?
From Lima, Peru.
Lima, Peru? Bienvenido a Boston, mi amigos de Peru.
Gracias.
See? Behind my friends from Peru, right here, where are you from, sir? North Carolina. Welcome, my friend. Oh, you get a lot of film work out there, don't you? Yeah, we used to have film work where I'm from in LA, but it's all there now and in Georgia, right? Yeah. You have a Wilmington Studios, the largest film studio in the U.S., the second largest in the world. The garden. Now listen, this is the public park. This is where you play Frisbee. This is the public garden. This is very elegant, as you can see, okay? This is not for Frisbee. This is for laying out a blanket, reading literature. I mean, one of the greats, Danielle Steele, something. A nice glass of Chablis, from a glass. And very, very nice. This is public garden, and it's landfill. So this is all landfill. Now, important, when we're driving around here and I say landfill, I don't mean garbage. Some people say Boston is built on garbage, and those people are wrong, and probably from New York. But it is built on soil from elsewhere, right? So this would have come from two hills here. One was called Pemberton, and one was called Mount Vernon. And Pemberton and Mount Vernon are no longer around. Well, the land is there, but it's flat, right? It's turned into this, into the public garden, and into a bunch of other places to live. There are the ducklings on the left-hand side. Can you see the ducklings? Mrs. Mallard and Jack Cack Lack Mac Knack Owak Pack and Quack on the left-hand side from Make Way for Ducklings, the official state children's book of Massachusetts by Robert McCluskey. Have you ever heard of Make Way for Ducklings? Have you read it? Please don't tell me how it ends. I'm about 3/4 of the way through. North Carolina, and behind Texas and across from North Carolina, North Carolina. Welcome, my friend. I'm behind North Carolina over here. Where are you guys from? From where, please?
St. Louis, Missouri.
St. Louis, Missouri. Welcome, my friend. My best friend is from Independence. That's pretty close to you guys, isn't it? Independence or no? Is Independence, Missouri close to you? About an hour. And about an hour away. Yeah, you used to walk. Yeah. Well, you know, he grew up poor, you know. And behind St. Louis, there, where are you from, sir? Belfast. Well, welcome, my friend from Belfast, Northern Ireland. Welcome to have you. And this is Belfast as well over here? Well, welcome, my friend. Are you enjoying your time out here? That glowing orb in the sky, that's called the sun. Yeah. Okay, be careful. Be careful. Welcome, my friends. I lived over there in UK for a while. I lived in England for a couple of years. I had a nice time, except for the language barrier. I lived in London for a year, and I lived up north in Stoke-upon-Trent. Yeah, see how I class it up by saying upon Trent, it can make a big difference. Cheers is coming up on our right-hand side. Oh, how can you be excited about, would you see it on Nick at Night? You're excited about, we're talking about a television show, do you understand? Yeah. Oh, you know that? 1982. Wow, you are a Cheers enthusiast for real. You like classic TV, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, very good. So Carla, Rhea Perlman, actually worked here, but have you been inside?
I have not.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you this. This is delicate information. Should I tell you this? Are you okay with having your dreams dashed? Well, it's your whole generation. You have to get used to the idea anyway. Okay, look. This is not where they shot the show, in that it's not the interior. It's the exterior, and it was the inspiration for the show. So it is the real Cheers, in that the Bull and Finch pub was the inspiration for the television show Cheers. And so they shot the outside of the Bull and Finch, and they called it Cheers in the show. And then they got the set dressing back, and the Bull and Finch changed their name to Cheers because the popularity of the show was crazy, right? Like it's still the third, something like the third most popular tourist destination, possibly, or something. I don't know, but it's, you know, most people of your generation would have turned it into an Apple store. That's why I'm surprised that you're like it, you know. But they actually shot the show Soundstage 5 in the Desilu lot, which is now part of the Paramount tour back in LA, which is now where they shoot Dr. Phil, which is considered by many to be among the greatest psychotherapists on earth. So this is Cheers over here on the right. Okay, there you go. This is very exciting, right? But if you go down the stairs, you're not going to see Norman nursing a beer. You're going to see some memorabilia from the show, and there is a replica of the soundstage. There's actually 2 Cheers. There's one in Faneuil Hall as well. Yeah. Did you like MASH? Do you like all classic TV?
I like MASH.
Yes, that was my favorite show. I just tweeted, because 2 days ago was the 47th anniversary of MASH, and I tweeted that when I was a kid, I'm old, I'm 51, and when I was a kid, I would watch MASH 3:37, 7:30, and then the new episodes of Monday, then I would record them on cassette tape. Cassette was a tape. And I would listen to it on a pillow speaker, and I tweeted that out, and Loretta Smith, Hot Lips from MASH, retweeted me and said, oh, that's such an honor. I was so happy. I said it to you. Look at this. Do you see this? This is called the Harvard House over here on the right-hand side. Or excuse me, the Harvard House. Do you see this right here? This was the first single-family home built in Back Bay. Look at this. Look at the Harvard House. What do you think of that? That's a single family. Do you know what that tells you? They're rich. This area, this development deal, is more landfill. You can tell this was meant to be elegant. That little thing here in the middle isn't a mistake. They didn't forget to fill it in. That's intentional. That's called the lagoon. That's a French word. It means lagoon. So this is very, very nice. And this is very nice. This was an upscale development deal beginning in 1858. This was 1837. This is 1858. And everything that we're going to be driving through so far, or in the coming blocks, this is all going to be Back Bay. It's called Back Bay because it used to be the Back Bay of the Charles River, right? You have a wonderful photo opportunity. Get ready. This is a good photo opportunity. Get ready with whatever that is. Look on the left. There it is. That's George Washington. Okay? He was kind of the Tom Brady for the original Patriots.
He still is.
Yeah. Right. Now we're going to go down Newbury Street and look at the rich people's shop, potentially. There's no promises in life. Lynn is going to evaluate. Lynn has very keen sensibilities. So if it's fairly clear and we don't have to struggle through too much traffic, not that there's any traffic in Boston, but once in a great while you'll see traffic. If there's not a lot of traffic, we'll go down Newbury Street and perhaps look at the rich people stop. If there is traffic, we'll go down St. James instead, and I will show you where I mailed my 2011 federal income taxes. Looks pretty good. I got a good feeling. What do you think, Lynn? Here we go. This is going to be nice, you guys. Hang on. Look at this. Burberry. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Tiffany over on the right. Chanel. Giorgio Armani. They made my pants. No, not Giorgio. I'm sorry. Salvation. Salvation Armani made the pants. Look at this beautiful church. This is called Roxbury Puddingstone. The Church of the Emmanuel is made from Roxbury Puddingstone. This is also Roxbury Puddingstone. Church of the Covenant is made from Roxbury Puddingstone. What is Roxbury Puddingstone? It's the state rock of Massachusetts. But why is it significant to geologists? Because they used it to prove that Pangea, you know, the idea that we were all one large, you know, continent. I'm talking many years ago, 50, 60 years ago, you know. And they were able to prove that this continent had broken apart because they find this stone in Morocco. It's only found 2 places on Earth. Roxbury Puddingstone is found in Roxbury, Massachusetts, and nearby, and it's found in Morocco. And it's not a stone like this, it's this stone. They know because the striations can be matched like a thumbprint, you know. It's pretty remarkable. We can't quack on Newbury Street. I would like to quack here, but we can't quack. We used to quack, and then we get letters like, how would you like to spend $3,000 on an Armani and be quacked at by Neverland? Biodiesel. We run biodiesel. Biodiesel. True story. It's true story. We actually run biodiesel. Hi, guys. Yes. That sounded positive. New England Historic Genealogical Society. This is a good place to go trace your family lineage back to the fish. I'm telling you what, or Adam and Eve, whatever your thing is. You know, it's like $15. It's remarkable, really. Okay, now we're going to get off of the street. Okay, once we're off of the street, then we are allowed to quack. We have to be 51% off of the street. Okay, get ready. I asked the manager. Once we're 51% off, then you can quack. You remember your lines? Quack, quack. Okay, here we go. Airtime!
Quack, quack!
Yeah, well, it hasn't gotten any better. L.A. Burdick Chocolate Company, very good chocolate company. Very good chocolate company. We're going to go around the Trinity Church. Wow, the Trinity Church. You're stoked. The Trinity Church is considered to be one of the most important pieces of architecture in the United States. The architect's name was Henry Hodson Richardson, and he called the architectural style Richardsonian because apparently he was a modest guy. But it's a beautiful building, and I would definitely recommend it. Yeah. We also have another wonderful photo opportunity. Get ready, this is a good one for your Friendster page. Okay, here we go. Left-hand side, it's us. John Hancock Tower. Go ahead, take a look. Your entire generation is obsessed with it. It's yourself. Look. Isn't that wonderful? There you go. That's us. Look. Hello. Hi, everybody. That's the John Hancock Tower. That's the tallest building in New England. 63 stories. Now, I don't know if I have the right demographic here. Somebody appreciates classic television. Some of you guys are the right demographic in terms of age. Anybody ever heard of that show, The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody? Oh, you have? Oh, look at it. Left-hand side, the Fairmont Copley Plaza Hotel. Not this entrance, but the entrance around the corner is the facade for the Tipton Hotel and the television program, The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. So not this entrance, but around the corner. When we turn right, look back to the left, look for a square awning. That's the outside of The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. Much like Cheers, though, they shot that show inside. Wow! Look at this beautiful Model A. Is that a Model A or a Model T? That's a Model A, right? Model A Ford. Look at that. Wow, that's pretty cool. What do you think of that, huh? Right over there, ma'am. Up on the sidewalk over there. Look at that. Ah. Oh, that's a beautiful car. Beautifully restored. That can only go into the water once, however. When we make this turn, you'll see the beautiful public library. You might see it right there, you see.